All right, well, look, I'm just going to rock into doing some demo training type stuff. Ultimately, I was talking about process and strategy. It's just about following a process and strategy. If I'm just getting started, I want the simplest strategy that's going to be the most efficient and take me to my goals the fastest. Our whole business is based on selling services to local small businesses. Okay, we just happen to be injecting AI into these processes, into this business now. But this is a business that has been around forever. For as long as there's been businesses, there's been people getting paid to advertise for them. And, digital marketing is something that we've been doing now I've been doing it since 2012. But now AI is on the scene that has made things just significantly easier, more efficient, and just made it easier to get a process going and stay consistent with it, which again, we all know that is the real key to anything. It's being able to stay consistent. It literally doesn't matter what you're doing. If you can stay consistent doing it, you will achieve whatever it is you're trying to achieve. When it comes to business, specifically our business of selling these services, these AI type services to businesses, it's just about staying consistent. It's not a matter of if it works. We already know it works. People do it. People are doing it all over the place every day. We know advertising works. People are getting paid to advertise for businesses every day. So we know it works. It's not a matter of like, oh boy, I just hope this works. No, it does work. It's just a matter of consistently doing it so it works for you, because everyone's different when it comes to that timeline. You don't know if tomorrow is the day that you're on a job site looking at projects that someone asks for help, that you don't know if tomorrow's the day that you say, hey, I can help you with that. And they say, yeah, okay, let's do that. You don't know. You don't know if that's going to be tomorrow. You don't know if it's going to be next week. You don't know if it's going to be next month, but we know it will happen because it does. It just does. Because that's what consistency does. And that is what a process that works does for you. And so when you combine those, consistently doing a process that works, you will succeed. It's not a matter of if, it's just a matter of when. Okay. And so we like to give you a very basic, simple starter process to follow so that it's easy for you to stay consistent. It's effective and easy for you to stay consistent, because you can wake up every single day, and this is important, you can wake up every single day and know exactly what you're doing. A big thing is, what's up, Mary? A big thing is, and all your all's payments are going out today. After I'm done this, I'll be watching the USA match, and I will be sending people their payments. This is a key thing about success in this business, or any business really for that matter, is waking up and knowing exactly the physical actions that you're going to do. People like to get comfortable and say warm and fuzzy things like, oh, I can't wait to work on my business. Okay, today I'm going to work on my business. What the hell does that mean? Does anyone even know what is working on your business? You sound like a mechanic, like going to work on a car. Like, what are you talking about? You're going to lift it up and look under the hood and see what are you talking about? Right? It's a warm and fuzzy thing to say. And a lot of us just say it nonchalantly, but for when you are first starting off, getting going, like you can say that kind of stuff after you've been doing it over a decade, like I have, or after you've reached whatever success that you're after. It doesn't matter how long it takes. Because you know what that means. If you're brand new, you don't know what that means yet until you've said it officially or specifically multiple times and have built the routines and started seeing progress, right? So when you're just getting started, getting out of the warm and fuzzy stuff of I'm going to work on my business has to get out of your vocabulary. What you're going to say is stuff like, all right, today I'm heading over to Upwork and I'm going to be bidding on projects. I'm going to look for web design projects and I'm going to submit bids until I've looked at all the new bids that have come, all the new projects that have been posted today. Once I go through all the new projects that have been posted today and submitted bids on the one I'm going to submit bids on, I will then go over to freelancer.com and do the same thing. If I have time after I've exhausted all the bids on Freelancer, I will head over to guru.com and I will look at the projects then and I will submit bids on that. If I have time after that, my goal is to head to Google Maps and I'm going to find I'm going to search for dentists in Miami and I'm going to submit an outreach proposal, outreach script to at least 10 of them. That's specific. You guys see the huge difference between I'm going to work on my business today and then the stuff I just laid out? It's night and day. It's not even close. A toddler can see how much more efficient what I said is versus I'm going to work on my business. That's what you should be saying. That indicates you know what the hell it is that you're supposed to be doing, right? So for those of you that are wondering around or worried about, well, I'm not sure when you say the things I'm saying, that's how you know that you know what to do. And if you're like, well, I would not have known to say that. Cool. Then that means you need to be asking questions. It means you don't continue another step until you get that concrete information that you need to start taking physical actions. I see too many people finish a training program that lays out the exact steps and tells them what to do, and then they do nothing because they get in this weird lull of like, oh, I don't know what to do. And I understand a lot of us, when we digest information, especially a bunch of new information, we can get overwhelmed, right? They like to say, oh, you're drinking from a fire hose. Okay. I'm not a huge believer in that, but I do believe people can get overwhelmed. And what do I mean by I'm not a huge believer in that? If I have a series of steps to take, it's hard to be overwhelmed because I just start with step 1 and then do that. And then I move to step 2, right? The fire hose effect is if I'm just digesting a bunch of information and I'm looking at a process as one giant blob of stuff. Well, that's not how anything works. Anything that you do is a series of steps, right? Everything that you do is a series of steps. Like there's nothing that you don't do in life that isn't a series of steps. Going to the bathroom is a series of steps. Like tying your shoe is a series of steps. Eating is a series of steps. Right? Everything is a series of steps. And so if I stop looking at everything as one giant blob of thing I have to do and just look at it as a series of steps, okay, what is step 1 of this? And even if I don't know, that's what I ask, right? So if I feel like I've been drinking from a fire hose, my next immediate question is, okay, well, what's step 1? And then boom, I'm done, right? It'd be like me getting a coffee table from IKEA and it comes in a big box and I just dump out the big box and all the stuff's just laying there. And I'm just like, oh my God, I'm overwhelmed with this. Versus just picking up the instructions and opening up the page 1 and seeing what the first step is to put it together, right? I have a choice. Everyone has a choice in that. I could sit there and say, oh my God, this is so overwhelming. I'll never be able to do this. Or I can just pick up the damn instruction manual and start at step 1. Like it's literally a physical choice I get to make. So at no point in time am I ever stuck on anything. I might, again, have a moment of overwhelm, but that's cool. Take a deep breath, take a step back and say, all right, cool. This seems like a lot of stuff, but you know what? What's step 1? Because none of us are born engineers or carpenters. Yet that example with the furniture, all of us have probably at some point put together something that you bought that was a coffee table, an end table, a CD rack, whatever. Like a lot of us have put together furniture. Were you magically born a carpenter or something or what? How'd you know how to do that? Oh, you probably picked up the instruction manual and said, oh, okay, well, step 1 says put this screw into this thing, right? So it's very simple. Anything is very simple if you want it to be, right? It's a choice. We all get to make the choice, all right? And so the process we give you is a very simple step-by-step, okay? So let's walk through the process of running our business, of everyday daily activities that I can be doing. And I will just focus on the one major one. So that if I just do this one process that I'm about to show you, I will be successful because it's literally all I have to do. Anything I do above and beyond this is gravy. It's extra credit. Okay. It's whipped cream and the cherry on top. Okay. So if I just do this basic process, I will be successful. And all I have to do is be consistent. It's real easy to just say, I'll do this every day. But even when I first got started, I didn't do it every day. I did it Monday through Friday. Sometimes on a Saturday and Sunday, if I just really had nothing going on, but I started taking time for myself and making sure that Saturday, at least, I did nothing else. I did nothing work related on Saturdays. Okay. By the way, this was after I started working from home. When I wasn't working from home yet and I was working on my business, I would make some time on Saturdays, and Sundays I always did as well. Okay. I found time on the weekends. I made time on the weekends when I definitely wasn't working from home yet, because my ultimate goal was to work from home. I didn't care how much money I made. Yes, we all want to make tons of money, but you know what I cared about more? I cared about not having to get up and go to work. I said to myself, if I can at least make the same amount of money that I'm making at my day job, but I don't have to get up and go to a day job, I'll be happy. I'll be happy the rest of my life. All I need to do is make at least as much money as I make at my day job, and holy cow, imagine that. I get to make the same amount of money, but I get to work from home and do it and be my own boss. How crazy is that? That to me was the dream. That's what I wanted. It wasn't like, oh, I want to make $10,000 a month. Like, guess what happened though? The money came. Money came with me just working to accomplish my first level goals, right? And then staying consistent with it. And that's all it is. Start with the most basic thing. For some of us, that might be just, you know what? I want to make enough money that my car payment is covered every single month. So it's like my car is free. Have you ever thought at that level? That's the kind of level you should start with. Start at that basic level. Okay. All right. So let's get into the process. So our process is going to be simple, right? We are going to use Computer's Reach. Okay. In this case, we'll go to Upwork. And all we're doing is we're looking for projects to find that we could do. Okay. We know our foot in the door is using an AI built website and trying to sell that website. So I'll start with that. I'm going to go to Upwork. I'm going to look for web design projects and then go through the process of what I would do to bid on projects and then be consistent with that. Okay. So first and foremost, let's go to Upwork. Let me go ahead and I'll share my screen here in just one sec. What's this thing? Looks like they've moved things around a little bit. Okay. What is this? All right, let me share my screen. All right. So now all I'm looking for is web design. Okay, I'm just gonna look for web design. Again, there's multiple variations of that. There's website designer, there's all kinds of things. If you just pick a general one like web design, it will more than likely, hit all the different variations of it, but it's okay to do a couple different searches. Start with one, exhaust all the projects that have been posted, and then it's okay to switch to a different keyword and see if something different pops up. Okay. Now, I would normally sort by most recent, and we'll do that in a second, but look, right away, this is the kind of stuff I'm looking for. So what kind of projects am I looking for? I am looking for projects that are simple to understand. Again, this is where it comes down to being able to be consistent. Some people get in here and they feel they need, like, they search web design, and then in their head, they think they need to be bidding on, they think that they should understand and be able to like bid on every single one of these things. Okay. What I am looking for is I just want projects that are simple to understand, that I could be a toddler and understand it. So what would that be? It would be, hey, we are looking for a website for our removal services company. Boom. That's all I want. They want a website for their company. That's all I'm looking for. Should be that easy to understand. Okay. I don't care about the requirement in terms of like, oh, the ideal candidate. I don't care about any of that stuff. Okay. Because I'm going to be you know why I'm the ideal candidate? Because I'm going to give them a website. In my proposal, I will be attaching a link to a website I've already built for them. Okay. So I don't care about that stuff. All I care about is a simple project to understand. Okay. At any point in time, if I see a project that I don't understand, I have two options. Okay. The first option, and my recommended, is just initially just skip it. Don't even think about it. Just move on, find something different. Like if I look at this and I'm like, website builder from wireframe. We're building our website for a new direction team to develop outlines of wireframes. Please bid. If I don't understand what that means, okay, I might simply ask in the group, hey, what would this mean? In this case, what this is saying is they already have like a mock-up kind of idea of what they want their site to look at, but it's not built. So this could be something that I could potentially do and put together for them after seeing their mock-up. But again, if I'm just like, wireframe, I don't understand. Cool, move on. Move on. And then what do I see next? We are seeking a skilled web developer to create a professional, user-friendly website for our business. Perfect. I understand. Yes, they want a website for their business. Cool, I understand that. Okay. So right here, out of these three, right, I could have spent all day trying to figure out what the hell this is, or just skip it and right away the next one is something I can bid on. Okay. Then at the end of my time, if I looked and I bid on projects and I'm like, okay, I mean, I was only be able to bid on a few, which is fine. Some days you might be able to bid on one. Some you might be able to bid on 10. Okay. There actually might be some days there's zero, there's like nothing. It's going to be rare, but it's going to happen. Okay. But say this is one day that there's only one I could bid on. Well, maybe then I'll go back and see, all right, maybe there's something I can understand. Let me take this project and pop it into ChatGPT and ask it what it means and see if it's something, and say, hey, look, I'm looking for projects that they're looking for a web designer. I'm going to use AI and build a very simple website for them. Is this a project that makes sense for me, or what are they asking for? Like I could just simply do that. If I don't want to go to the group and wait on someone and say, well, can I do this? I could literally just ask the biggest brain on the planet, AI, right? I can go to ChatGPT and just paste the damn project in there and say, what is this project about? What the hell is a wireframe, right? Do you see how? And so by doing that, for one, I'm taking a little initiative to figure out what the hell's going on. Like instead of just wandering around life blind and oblivious to anything out there, like understanding that I have the most powerful information brain on the planet at my fingertips. But two, I'm giving myself more opportunities, right? And that's all this is. It's just about consistently having, finding opportunities to reach out to. That's it. That's all this is. That's all any business is. Okay. So anyway, that's all I'm doing. I'm just looking for very simple things. Okay. So all I would do is here's a project, removal services website. Okay. So what a nice budget. But in the end, I don't care about the budgets. That's another thing I want to highlight. I don't care about budgets. Why? I've talked about this before, is understand the brain, the psychology of the people who are selling to. Okay. This is how people sell more, right? How do the top sales people sell more? Well, they understand the person that they're selling to. Okay. An amateur that has no idea what they're doing, they would say, oh yeah, 3,200, that's great. But then they would come down here, maybe to this one and say, oh, 10 to 20 bucks an hour. No, I'm worth way more than that. And they would skip this project, right? Or, what if this project said $100? Well, it's $100. That's beneath me. $100. This person thinks they're going to get a website for $100, and then they would move on with their day. Okay, that's amateurs. Okay, we smart marketers don't pay attention to this price because we understand the psychology of the person posting here. The person posting here needs help. Okay, they have found out somehow, some way that this site exists and that they can post a project and find people that can help them. When they post a project here, they are forced to put a price in. To put a budget in. Okay. Some businesses, like this removal services business, they had a budget in mind. So they went ahead and put it there. Good on them, but they're very rare. More common is the majority of people that are coming here to post. They don't know what a budget is. They have ideas of maybe what a website might cost, but they really don't know how much their website that they want is going to cost and or how to plan for it, because most business owners don't. But they're forced, when they put a budget, a portion of that money has to be paid right away, right then. And Upwork is going to hold it. That is to signify that, for one, the business is serious and is a real business and has money, or else Upwork won't let them post. But it also is a good faith thing to say, hey, yeah, I've already got a portion of this money sitting here waiting. So I'm good with the money. I'm ready to work with someone. Okay. Well, if you had no idea how much it was going to cost you, and you were forced to pick a budget and have to pay a percentage of that, would you pick, I don't know, $10,000 randomly and have to pay, I don't know, maybe $5,000 up front? Or would you say, well, maybe, I don't know, I'll pay 10 to 20 bucks an hour and maybe have to pay only 10 bucks? What do you think you would do? What do you think a majority of people would do? Do you think they would pick the highest amount and have to come up with a bunch of money that they don't even know that they need? Or do you think that they would pick a very low dollar amount budget so that when they set up the project, they only have to pay a very small amount, and then they can communicate with people and figure out how much it's actually going to cost? Okay. So it's about understanding the psychology of the people posting here. Most people have no idea how much their website's going to cost, and they damn sure don't want to be paying thousands upon thousands of dollars to this site, especially when they have no idea how much it's going to cost, ahead of time before they even get anything, right? So the natural psychology of someone is to say, all right, I'll pick a small budget, so I only have to put a little money up front, and then once I post my project and people start submitting interest into it, I'll communicate with the people I'm interested in working with and find out how much it's actually going to cost. That's how this works. Okay. So I don't care about the budget. All I care about is it's something that I could do and I understand it. Okay. So in this case, we have a removal services website. All right. So now all I'm going to do is I'm going to go over to my trusty, let me grab this. Okay. I'm going to go over to my trusty website builder, which in this case, we're going to use Lovable. Nice. All right. So now they're always updating and doing new things. All right. So in the end, or simply, I'm just going to use this simple prompt. Okay. We have, more detailed prompts and training, but in the end, this is all I really need to do. Okay. I need a website built based on the following project. And then I'm just going to paste it. Okay. One thing I'll remove typically from this is like anything that it asks of the web designer that isn't relevant to the website. Meaning this sentence. Oh, you know what? This sentence is good. Pretend this sentence says the ideal candidate will have experience in website development and design. And that was it. Okay. That means nothing to the AI website builder here. Pretend this website builder that I'm using, Lovable, it's just another person. Pretend it's another person I'm talking to. I wouldn't say that. Hey, I would say something, hey, can you build me a website for this removal service company? Here's a few details of things that they want. I wouldn't say to them, oh, and also the ideal candidate is going to have, I wouldn't say that to them. That's stupid. It makes no sense. Why would I say that to the web developer, right? So I would delete that. But in this case, because they have this part, okay, I'm going to leave it in there because I want the website builder in this case to understand that they want a user-friendly and visual appealing website. Okay. All right. So I'm just going to hit enter. Okay. Now what Lovable is going to do, and again, GoHighLevel has now added AI Studio, I believe it's called. Reviews are kind of mixed on that, on how good or how bad it is in terms of usability and the stuff it produced. But in the end, you can do this same thing in GoHighLevel. We'll have some other training coming out on that to demo a lot of that stuff. But in the end, Lovable is going to do a fantastic job, is what we've been using since the beginning, before GoHighLevel got their new features or whatever. So this is going to do exactly what we needed to do, and it's not expensive at all. And again, they have a free plan, so I can even build some free sites initially before I hit my limit, and then the upgrade is like $20 a month. So I'm not even worried about it. In the end, all I'm looking to do is paste it in here. Okay, Lovable and has added in a little bit more of they will ask some questions like this if you want to answer, where I can provide extra feedback to it. So in this case, it's saying, hey, which design direction should I build? We have a nice clean one. We have this one with a little bit more fancy stuff. This one's like a bold classic. Or I can just skip and let it pick. Okay. So just understand I can do either. But in this case, I'm actually going to pick one. I'm going to pick this first one. For whatever reason, I like it. I don't know. Okay. Now, what it's potentially built, oh yeah, for international removal. So anyway, I picked the first one. I didn't have to. I just want you guys to understand that. But all that's going to happen is I'm going to let it do its build. Okay. What I can do in the meantime, right, is I can go to, in this case, ChatGPT. Again, inside the Agent Vault, I do have access to the Upwork template builder. Upwork proposal builder, where I paste the project in there and it will put together a proposal. But I'm just going to show you the simple version so that it doesn't matter what tool you're using. You just understand this is really all that's happening. Okay. I'm just going to use ChatGPT in this. Again, you can use whatever tool that you want. And all I'm going to say is I need an Upwork proposal based on the following project. Okay. One thing that I need to add in here really quick, and just want to mention in here really quick. Our process, remember, is we use a results first strategy. So I'm going to show them the website. When I submit out and say, hey, I can help you, I'm actually going to be saying, hey, I've already built this for you. What do you think of these results? That's essentially what I'm saying here. I am leading with results first. our strategy is to start with showing them what we can do versus just saying what we can do. Okay. That's going to put us a step ahead of everyone else on Upwork here for that project. They're getting lots of bids and projects for people saying, oh yeah, I'm an experienced web designer and I can do all, I definitely build user-friendly websites and visually appealing, and I have a great portfolio and blah, 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 blah. That's what they're all saying. We are going to be saying, hey, I can absolutely do this for you. In fact, here is the demo that I've already put together for you. I'm highlighting the details you had mentioned in your project. Okay, what do you think of these results? What do you think? What do you think of this? It's essentially kind of the theme here, right? And so all I'm going to say for the proposal is, hey, I need an Upwork proposal based on the following project. Also, I am using a results first approach and have already built a demo site for them. So please include a spot in the proposal for me to put the website link and highlight it. For me to highlight the website link, because I want that to be prominent. I want that to be the main thing of my proposal. Hey, look, I built this thing for you. Okay, so that's all I'm going to do. And then what did I do? I pasted the project. Okay, and then within seconds, this will be done. All right, so I'm going to do this while, hopefully it's doing that while let's go back to Level really quick because our demo is done. Okay, and so now we have our nice demo site already built. Let me go back to ChatGPT really quick. I refresh this because I don't know what's going to happen. Okay, it did work. All right, so anyway, so back here, here's our site. Beautiful. A beautiful site. And understand I have, typically what it'll build is a single page website with the scroll. So you can see as I'm clicking on the links, it's scrolling on the one page. I can easily, again, a couple things. So what is actually happening here? For one, I'm just trying to get them the 90% solution based on their project. Meaning I'm not trying to make this where they say, yep, that's my website. Okay, cool. It's all yours, all done. See you later. It's never going to work that way because they're going to want certain changes. They're going to want certain content on there. So I just needed to look somewhat good and be based on what it is that they're saying so that I've given them essentially the 90% solution. So when they look at that, they're like, oh man, yeah, this is basically what we want. We'd probably put our logo over here, maybe have a form put over here. Like we want them to go ahead and start having ideas in their head of what changes they would make for their website, because that's essentially them taking ownership, which triggers their psychology that, hey, this is my site, which means if they lose that, there's a little bit of loss aversion there, that there's a little bit of a, oh, this is pretty much my site. I don't want to lose this. Okay, yeah, let me work with this guy. That's essentially the kind of psychological tension that we want to build here, okay? And also as they start picturing their business in this website, right? They're kind of dressing it up with their logo and all this other stuff. Again, it's them kind of taking ownership of it as if it is already theirs, okay? So in the end, I'm just looking for the 90% solution, okay? I'm not worried about this being perfect, right? So an example of that is like, well, I don't want it to be one site. They're going to maybe want all this. Cool. I can change it to say, hey, Lovable, build a page for each of the links in the menu. I can do that. I can do that simple. I can do any change I want, update anything I want just by simply typing back in here in the project chat here. Okay, and it'll do that. But all I got to ask myself is, does this look like a cool website? Okay, does it look like a good moving site? Right? Or relocation services, right? Does this look okay? Right? I may say something like, hey, make the hero section, put the image of the, so let's do that. Let's just show how easy it is. So move the image below the hero section into the hero section to the right of the hero section headline and text. Okay, so what I'm saying is, hey, move that. Now again, as soon as I start doing changes, understand I may have to play around with it. Okay, I'm basically trying to tell it, move this image here over here. Okay, now this is where it becomes, do they understand what I mean? Did I say the right thing? I might have to go back and forth a little bit, moving some things. Or hey, put an image to the right and the hero set. I may get into a little bit of a thing like that. Okay, here we go. Now, what I would potentially do, let's see, this is exactly what I wanted. Okay. Now, what I would probably do is change out this image. So change the image in the hero section to a different image of movers. Okay. So let's just have it change the image. Now, anyway, I can do, what I'm getting at is I can do any changes I want. All I gotta do is type and talk to it. Okay. Type and talk to it, and it's going to do any kind of changes that I want. Okay. So anything that I want, it will do it. Okay. Here we go. Look at that. Way better. So there we go. I like this a little bit better than what it was. Instead of the big image below the text, it was blank up here and all this. So perfect. Okay. Now, again, I keep playing with it, shrink it up, I do all kinds of things. More times than not, it's going to be perfect right away with my first prompt. Okay. In this instance, cool, I needed to make a couple changes. I'm good. All I would need to do is publish this. Okay. When I hit publish, I can literally leave it this, whatever this URL is. Now I could change this if I already know their company name, because the project tells me their company name. I would just change this. But let's say it's Vanguard Removals. It picked Vanguard Removals. So let's just say that's what their name is. I would just put Vanguard Removals. Okay. And then if I hit that, that's what the link would be. So it'd be vanguardremovals.lovable.app. I can send that and give that to them. Okay. Or I would put that in the proposal. Okay. I can also add a custom domain. Okay. I talk about this in the training, how easy it is. I actually show you, add a custom domain, and I can make it demo site. I can buy demosite.com. Let's just pretend that that is available. And then I would add that custom domain here. And so demosite.com would be here, and it would be just like this, where I get to put something in front of it. So in this case, I would put Vanguard Removals, and it would be .demosite.com instead of Lovable. And then I can send that link. And then guess what? I bid on the next project. Let's pretend it's Jack's Plumbing. Okay, I build a demo site for Jack's Plumbing. Well, I'll get this same little thing up here for Jack's Plumbing site. And guess what I can do? I can then use demosite.com again. But in this case, or for that site, I would change it to Jack's-Plumbing. So I can keep using that same domain over and over and over again, where it's custom and not saying lovable.app if I'm worried about that. If I'm worried, because a common thing is, oh my God, they're going to see lovable.app, and then they're going to go to Lovable, and then they're going to build their site, and then I'm going to lose all this business. People go through this worry wall of things, not missing out on the fact that most business owners don't care, they don't pay attention, and they don't have time, and they don't want to mess around with things. They just want it done. That's what they're asking, or else they would have been doing it themselves. Okay. Anyway, bottom line is I have flexibility on what I want this domain to be. Okay. So in this case, it's vanguardremovals.lovable.app. Okay. That, and then I can continue. Let me just go ahead and publish it. Public, anyone with the URL, continue, and continue, and publish. Okay. So it'll be live on that link. Now let's go over to ChatGPT. Okay. So it actually did produce it. It was blank for some odd reason initially. I need an Upwork proposal based on the following project. And I said, hey, make sure there's a spot where I can put the link. And then here it is. I got it right here. Okay. Rather than telling you I could build, I decided to show you. Create a custom homepage demo for your removal service company. You can see my approach before making a decision. Paste it here. Now, if I want this to be more casual or more professional or short or longer or whatever, but it's already given me a phenomenal proposal. Okay. Again, one little tip and trick is AI loves to use these giant dashes like this. That's an easy dead giveaway that you're using AI. Okay. Or that someone's using AI for their text or ads or anything. Okay. Now, do I really care that I'm using AI? Is the business owner probably using AI for something? Yeah. AI is here. Everyone's using it. But some people have the perception of, oh, this person's just using AI. They're lazy. They're not thinking themselves. So I'm just going to remove that because I don't need that extra little thing of I don't want to, if I can just remove this dash and put a comma or something instead, right? Then I just eliminate that possibility, right? It's kind of like with the domain. Like, will most business owners care if I use the Lovable app? No, most people won't care, but there's going to be one. It's like, hey, what's this Lovable? You're just using AI. I can just avoid it by I can just eliminate the possibility of any issue whatsoever. In this case, by deleting this dash, or in the case of the website link, just buy one custom domain and use that over and again. I can just eliminate, so I'd never have to worry about it. Okay, so that's what this is. There's always going to be the one person that sees this and says, this person's using AI. They're lazy. They're just doing AI stuff. They're not even thinking about me personally. All that. Okay, even though we're probably doing the most personal process out of anyone bidding on their project. Anyway, so it's just a little note, something to pay attention to. But anyway, I have my proposal. I would have the link here and then bid on it. Okay. Whenever I bid, I'm always just going to bid whatever their minimum budget is. Okay. So in this case, they say 3,200. I could say 3,200. Again, what are we selling these websites for? I'm looking to sell this website anywhere from $500 to $3,000. Okay. I can go ahead and tell you they're going to get a lot of bids that are cheaper than this. So I would probably just use whatever my minimum price is that I'm selling the website for in this case. So anytime, so let's just say I'm just starting off, I'd recommend sell it for $500. Okay. Sorry, when I'm just getting started, I'm probably selling websites for 500. And I'm going to recommend you just get started with 500. So you have the confidence, so you can get a sale, make money, get that money quick, get the confidence, and then start building it up to the sweet spot price. Because my goal is I want to sell a website and then what? Sell other marketing services. Okay. So if 500 is the current level that I'm at, I wouldn't necessarily say, oh, this person's offering 3,200. I'm going to do 3,200. You could. Okay. But then there's also going to be probably 20 other people bidding on this. And you're going to get a lot of them bidding 1,000 or something like that. And I don't want to just because I'm like, oh, they said 3,200. Remember what I said about the psychology. These people are probably saying up to 3,200. Okay. So that should be plenty for us to get this. And then if I'm bidding 3,200, again, I could do that. I'm just giving you the way I'm thinking on this, the psychology involved, because I don't want to be having to think randomly and custom things all the time. All I want to do is find a project, get the website built, get my proposal. And then if I'm doing, say I'm doing 1,000, say I'm at the 1,000 level, then I would put 1,000 and that's what I would be bidding. If their budget is lower than that, say their budget is 100 or $10 an hour, I'm bidding at that minimum, 100 or $10 an hour. Why? Because if they say $10 an hour, I don't want to be the one that stands out at 1,000. I want to just bid on their project. So they're not even thinking about the price at that moment. They're focused on my proposal and what the contents that I built a website. When they start the conversation with me because they're interested in working with me, that's when we'll talk about the price. Okay. So same thing here. I just want them to get I just want the conversation to get going. Then we'll talk about the price in our conversation. Okay. So my budget, I'm always just matching their budget unless it's a budget that's way higher than what it is I'm normally charging. I'm just going to put what I normally charge then. Does that make sense? And then I'm just slowly building up my pricing over time. Okay. Every time I get a sale, website sale, I'm potentially bumping that price up 500 until I find the website price that's my sweet spot, that I get more sales than I lose. Because the more clients I get, the more people I can then sell reoccurring marketing services. I know I repeated myself multiple times because I'm trying to drive it home, because there's some different psychological points, selling points going on in that process, if that makes sense. And this is all I'm doing over and over and over again. What I would potentially do, I wouldn't start with best matches, okay? Because like in this case, it's 2 days old, okay? What I'm typically wanting to do is I want to come to the site, do my search, and sort by most recent, okay? And then I'm just going to go down the list. No different than what we just did. I'm looking for projects that I understand. This is a great example, okay? The sun blaring here. So like this, Shopify store builder needed. It's an e-com site. I don't potentially want to work with an e-com person, although you could, okay? I want to build websites for local service-based businesses, right? Like my movers, okay? Or in that case, they're UK, they call them relocators, but if they're a moving company, okay? So I'd probably skip that. So again, I don't say, oh, how can I figure this out and like really figure out how to do this? No, I say that doesn't fit my box. I'm going to keep moving. Stress-free, low anxiety, just going to keep moving. I want this to be easy. I want it to be so simple because I can get up every day, not be scared of this. I want to just do it every day and move on with my day. Because I know if I just keep doing this, I will make money. I will get clients. My business will get going, get momentum, and it will grow. Okay. Next, great. Web designer to fix an existing RStudio website with WordPress and Elementor. Again, my answer is not, okay, what's Elementor? I got to figure, okay, let me Google Elementor. No, it's as simple as I have no idea what that means. Moving on. Okay. WordPress website. Okay. In this case, this might be a scenario where I say, okay, they're asking for a WordPress website. Okay. Again, what's the psychology of some people? Some people, a lot of businesses, they just heard that WordPress is how they should maybe build their website. So they're asking for that specifically. They might not need a WordPress website. What I do see that they need is they want a website. We're hiring a web developer to build a high converting tutoring website for their whatever, right? That's something I can do. They're a business that wants a website for their business. Okay. They're asking for WordPress specifically, but again, it's not, I'm not worried about that. The only time I'm worried about what they're asking for is if they're asking for Shopify. Shopify is an e-com. There's a shopping cart. There's all kinds of stuff because that's a site where people go to buy physical products off the site. I can use Lovable to build an e-commerce site, but it's way above what I need to worry about when I'm just getting started. Okay. That's something, again, I can go back and do once I've got my basic bidding done. And, maybe I do understand that. Cool. Go for it. I just want for you to, if you're just starting, keep it simple and just move through things very easy, very smooth. Okay. So this might be something I bid on. And this is another perfect example. Estimated budget, 150. Do you really think this person thinks that a website is going to cost 150 bucks? No, they just put that as their budget, estimated budget, because they have to post a budget. They're going to get a conversation with someone started, and then they'll figure out the actual price. This is exactly what I was talking about. Okay. Again, convert HTML website to Elementor or WordPress. No idea what that means. Don't even want to do it. Shopify for a fashion brand. Nope. Logo design. I could build a logo, but that's not what I'm here for. Okay. Figma designer, artist on an ongoing. Figma, is that like Fig Newton? Cool. I have no idea what it means. Skipping. High converting landing page. Potentially something I could do. I can do landing pages, but let's just look for websites. Using Avada, magazine layout. That sounds like a WordPress site. Again, they've been using it. Cool. I'm not going to rock the boat. Okay. Squarespace website for landscaping business. This might be something, again, that I would ignore, just like the WordPress person. They want a Squarespace because potentially they heard that Squarespace is easy, something that business owners should use. Cool. I'm just going to create if they want a website for their landscaping business. That's all I need to focus on. And so this would be a project I would bid on. Okay. And that's all I'm doing. I'm just going down the list every single day. And look, I'm still at like one page, an hour ago. Okay. And so ultimately, all I'm doing every single day is I show up here, I do my search, sort it by most recent, and I'm just going down the list until I hit ones that I've already seen the previous time I was on. Okay. So as you can see, I'm still within 2 hours ago posted. So I would just keep going. And let's just say I was on the site yesterday bidding on projects. Let's see, what are we on page 2? Look, page 2 at the bottom, we're still at 7 hours ago. This is what I was talking about. This is not, there's 50 per page. So we're at 100 listings because we're on page 2 at the bottom, and we're still in the same day. Okay. There's opportunities all over the place. Okay. And so let's just say I got all the way down. There's 11 hours. Let's just say we go to, here we go. I'm on page 5. And let's say I remember seeing this one yesterday. Oh yeah, Shopify store for office furniture. Okay. I remember seeing that yesterday. Cool. Guess what? You're done. No, I don't have to keep looking because you've already seen everything else because you've seen this. You were already there yesterday and seen that. And so every day I show up, okay, I probably wouldn't needed to go to page 5. Yeah, 60. So yeah, maybe I got here. Ordering process. Oh yeah, I did that. I got to that one yesterday. Cool. I got through everything. I did my bids. Cool. Now you have an option. I go to the next site or the next prospecting method. Okay. Next site would be I go to Guru or Freelancer. The next prospecting, maybe I do Google Maps and do cold calling or cold emails. Okay. That's my process every single day, over and over and over again, staying consistent. And this is how, again, I build momentum and snowball my business from something that's just something I'm getting going, getting started, that I consistently build into something that, again, provides great side hustle money for me, that supplements my life, supplements what I'm doing and my current, my planned life. Or this is something I'm growing to replace my current day job. And so I can create a whole brand new lifestyle for myself as a business owner doing this full time. Okay. That's it.